Welcome to Kickin' It with Sensei, and today we're joined by Sensei Brian Bates. You're very welcome, Brian.
Hi there, thanks for having me, Sensei Emmett. Yeah, pleased to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And if you'd just like to give the audience a little bit of background into your martial arts.
Okay, yeah. So I started karate at the age of 9. My parents sent me there because I was forever getting into fights at school, and they thought it was perhaps a good way to control my aggression. I really wanted to box, but my mum wasn't having any of it. She didn't want my nose spread across my face and all the rest of it. So they thought karate would be a good idea. So so I've been doing that really from the age of 9. Had a bit of a break in my teenage years, and then went back to it seriously at the age of 19. So as an adult, I've dabbled in a few things. I've had a little go at Taekwondo, didn't really like it. So stuck with the karate, and alongside karate, I did a bit of judo, which I really enjoyed. Did that for a couple of years in my early 30s to supplement my karate. You know, I went to do a bit more throwing and stuff like that. But I found as a 30-year-old, my body didn't repair as quick as it used to. So I kind of, I gave that up after a couple of years. I still was interested in like throwing and locking, and didn't really find there was enough of it in karate. So I took up Aikido Jiu-Jitsu as well, and Aikido. It was a bit softer than the judo, but the principles were still there. So took that up about 10 years ago. And a couple of years ago, I took up urban combatives as well. So I do that as just something where I can go and train, let out some aggression. And also, I mean, it's not just about aggression. You know, they've got a great syllabus there where, you know, they go into the soft skills and all the rest of the violence dynamics. So yeah, quite a broad spectrum. But the main thing is the karate and the Aikido Jiu-Jitsu. So that's my main thing.
Excellent. So, yeah. And looking at your YouTube channel now, you seem to have a very big interest in Kata. Is that something you've always had, or has that developed as you've got more mature in your martial arts journey?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm still quite, I like to think I'm still a bit immature really, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I think the Kata thing, it was massively inspired by Ian Abernethy as well. So obviously he's got the idea of you learn lessons from Kata. So, you know, I kind of followed that model really. You know, I thought actually, yeah, I can see, particularly when I took up Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, you know, I could see stuff happening in the jiu-jitsu that I could see in the Kata. It really became alive then. And like I say, the inspiration from Ian. I've kind of switched a bit lately though, to be honest. I think if you want to learn to fight, you know, which is what I did want to do, you know, just the best way to learn is by fighting, isn't it? You know, taking up a fighting art. And I think I'm kind of using Kata as a reminder of those fighting techniques rather than trying to learn from Kata, which I think a lot of people say, oh, all the lessons are in the Kata. Well, you know, learn to fight and the Kata can remind you. That's kind of the way I see it now. But yeah, big into Kata. I think when I've competed throughout my karate life as well. So, you know, Kata was a performance years ago, you know, and then it became, you know, something that I could learn to fight from. Now I think it's, you know, you learn to fight and then Kata's there to remind you. But yeah. So that's my Kata really.
So talking about competing and that, what was your views on karate in the Olympics? And you knew it was coming.
Yeah. Well, this is see, I was away on holiday for a lot of it, which was fortunate. And I didn't realise, this is stupid of me, because a lot of it was on Eurosport, wasn't it? And the Discovery, I think, was it something like that. So I didn't realise I had a Eurosport subscription on my Virgin television. So I was like, oh, where can I watch this? And I flicked through it. Oh, I've actually got it. But yeah, the only thing I saw, which is probably the worst thing to watch, was the final. You know, the men's heavyweight final. And geez, yeah, for me that was a poor representation of a fighting art. You know, you're getting gold medal for not protecting your face and walking into a kick. So a lot of people said, you know, I can't remember the fighters' names, but the guy with the red gloves did the Moshigeri, did the roundhouse, and he caught the guy with the blue gloves. Now the guy with the blue gloves had his hand down by his hip, which exposed the side of his head, and he literally walked into that kick. So I don't think the kick was not controlled. I think it was probably, you know, a well-controlled kick that the competitor walked into. So yeah, I mean, that was my only real experience of karate in the Olympics. I did try and catch some on YouTube, but as a as a spectator sport, I don't particularly enjoy it. I think it's quite slow paced because it's a points based system, isn't it? It's constantly breaking to either award a point or go to the judges to see if that was a point. So for me, it's just a bit too slow paced. I think there'd be other things that'd be much more suited as a spectator Olympic sport. For one, I'd rather see something like Kudo, or even if if there was a generic kickboxing type thing that Taekwondo practitioners, karate practitioners, kung fu, whatever. If you're in the striking art, that's this generic set of rules that you can all abide by, and I think that'd be a much better way. Then people can compete against each other on a broader scale, can't they?
Yeah,
but I think for me, I think Kudo's got it all, and Kudo really. There's a lot of karate in Kudo as well. I mean, it's karate and judo, isn't it?
Yeah, Kyokushin, wasn't it, the origins?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Kyokushin and the judo. And interesting, we had Mal Sanchez Jones. I think you're planning to talk to him soon, or hopefully you do, because he's a great guy.
Over the past few days.
Right. Yeah. So he visited my dojo and gave us a taster session of Kudo, and obviously I've seen it anyway on YouTube and that, but to experience it firsthand was fantastic. And and there was a lot of what we already do within Kudo. So as an Olympic sport, I think that's where we should be going, really, something along those rule sets. But karate in the Olympics, forget it. It wasn't for me.
What's your views on karate combat?
That
seems to be more.
Again, I mean, I've not seen a lot of it. There's I followed it on Instagram, so and I like it. It's combative, isn't it? So like I say, when you look at, I'm not going to put these guys down, the WKF guys, because they are highly skilled. They train really, really hard, and they're brilliant at what they do. Their timing is phenomenal, but like I say, it's not combative. So for me, it needs to be combative, and their karate combat is a good one. I like that a lot.
I fell in love with karate combat, and it was actually a friend sent me a video. And I'd never heard of it, and I'm a jiu-jitsu practitioner, so karate wouldn't be really my thing. And I think the first fight I seen on it, the guy ran up the side of the pit, jumped off and done a tornado kick, knocked the guy out, and I thought, right, this is the next big thing now. It's
using the environment as well. That's skills. So I'm a fan. But I'm probably must catch up on a bit more of it, really. Because I say I just follow it on Instagram, so I see the post up on there. But I do like that. I like that a lot.
Definitely. And I know a lot of dojos have been closed over the last 18 months due to the pandemic. Do you think technology's played a big part and will do in the future of karate?
So for me, while our dojo was closed, I used this format. I used Zoom or Google Meet we was using. The majority of my students didn't follow it. I think we got teenagers that probably found it difficult training at home, finding a space to train. So it was only there was a handful of us that we had our areas. I've got a garage, fully equipped garage, and I used to use this back as well. So for a training thing, I think it has its limitations, particularly from an instructor's point of view. Watching your students, there's camera angles and things you can't quite pick up. For solo training, I kind of think it can. What benefited us most, we do with our karate club, we do self-protection as well. So we talk about self-protection. So a lot of that is talking. You talk about, you practice your soft skills, talk about your pre-fight, your in-fight, your post-fight. So we found this as a useful thing. So rather than doing it in the class where you want to get hands-on with your partner, we found Zoom is a really good tool that we can say, okay, this Friday night, we're going to have a discussion on pre-fight. So we'll talk about that. For doing talks and lectures, I think it's a brilliant tool. With regards to, like, say, if you're doing a fighting art, you want to get hands-on with someone, don't you? I think so. Karate is one of those arts, though. You've got your solo forms, so it's, it could be used for that. But again, personally, I think if you know the solo form, you should be practicing that anyway. It's something you can do in your own time. You don't necessarily need your sensei to watch you on something that you've already learned. It's just it's a tool for practicing, that is. So definitely Zoom is good for your lectures without question. And I've attended some really good ones by some other martial artists. I wouldn't say karate guys. So I don't know if you heard of Jamie Clubb. So he's done some really good online seminars, you know. So and he's really knowledgeable on all of this subject. So yeah, they are good for the lectures.
Excellent. I keep feeling that when all the dojos do finally reopen, I know some of them are opened already in the UK. Yeah. I think we're going to have a whole country full of kata experts. It's all they've been doing for 18 months. But
actually, we opened up. We've been open. I can't think of the date. It was sometime in June, wasn't it? That was allowed to in the UK to reopen. Initially, it was just pad work, and now we're up to just full-on partner training. And when we went back, I thought it was going to be carnage. You know, I thought everyone's going to have this pent-up, frustration of not being able to get hands on. But so yeah, we had to be careful when we went back. So we sort of introduced things a bit more gently and sort of scaled things down. But we're back up to full-on training now, which is fantastic. So yeah, it is good. It's good to be back. Really good.
It is. Well, we're kind of in a catch-22 here. We live just on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic.
Okay.
So in the north, they can reopen way back in June. In the Republic, we're still closed. But half our dojos are in the north and half in the Republic. Okay. So we do get the opportunity to go up and train a little bit, but it's still a bit of distance to be traveling every week. But
yeah, well, so you can't beat it though, can you? Like I say, the online sessions have sort of kept our sanity for the year and a half. You know, it kept us connected with our students and our our colleagues. But yeah, you can't beat hands-on training, can you? This is what it's all about, isn't it? You know, when you're doing a martial art, you want to grab somebody and rag them around, and that's when you're happiest, isn't it? Really.
That's it,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And what advice would you give someone starting out in martial arts?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. A lot, because one of my students did a survey on this. Actually, what attracted you to your dojo? You know, so why did you choose this martial art? And the biggest, the most common answer he got was because it was closest. So and people generally do. So people tend to, if they don't know what martial art they want to do, but they just want to get into something, they just see what's local and they tend to go there. Which is always so that was the biggest thing that came out in this survey that he'd done. But I'd say if you want to research it a little bit, there's lots of stuff on YouTube, Instagram. You can see all the different types of martial arts. You get an idea of what you want to do first. So if it is karate, what you want to do, then I think you need to do a little bit of research rather than pick the closest club to home. But some people do it for different reasons as well, don't they? People do it for leisure. People are looking for self-protection, to get fitter, to build confidence. All these things that martial arts are supposed to give us. So I think it is finding the right dojo that fits your needs is the important thing, I think. And not, I'd even try a few as well. So not just pick one art, just have a go at a few and then see which one suits you best. I think it's the best advice, I think.
Yeah, that seems to be a common trend with especially long-term martial artists. They never stick to one system. They cross-train a lot and try a little bit of everything, really. And
yeah, so you say you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner?
Yeah, it would be. I started with boxing and then went into kickboxing.
Okay, so you was allowed to box, and unlike me.
Yeah.
Your mum let you.
That's it. I would have come from a long line of boxers, so it was kind of,
okay, yeah.
Especially some of my sort of older elders would have bare knuckle boxed and things like that. So
cool.
I was allowed as long as the gloves were on, but
fair enough, yeah.
And then went into kickboxing, ended up in jiu-jitsu then as a teenager, and slowly the kickboxing faded, and I've been doing jiu-jitsu ever since.
Yeah, the Japanese jiu-jitsu, I take it.
Yeah.
As I say, because it was the same for me with the Aikido jiu-jitsu. When I picked that up about 10 years ago, I'd already been doing karate for the most of my life, But I did find once I found Aikido jiu-jitsu, it was it unlocked or ticked so many boxes, unlocked so many questions that I had as well. It's like okay, so. Like you said about Kata earlier, I studied Kata a lot, but as soon as I took up this different art, I could see all the answers I was looking for in Aikido Jiu-Jitsu that were in my kata. As well as, like I say, following the likes of Ian. But definitely cross training, I think, is a good thing to do, and I think it's important as well. I was hoping, that I've done enough in my life that my students wouldn't necessarily need to do it. But all the same, I still encourage them to do it. So like you had young Kieran on, Kieran McKenzie from Kenji Martial Arts. So you had a chat with him. So he wanted to refine his throwing skills. So we've got a really good local judo club that I used to go to, and I said, get yourself over there. I'm fairly good at throwing, but I'm predominantly a striker. I said, so if you want to get better at throwing, go and see these guys. This is what they do, And then recently he started jiu-jitsu, and then, like I say, as an instructor, I'll never discourage my students to go elsewhere. I'll actively encourage it, because you want to see them grow, don't you? You want to see them be the best they can. And I think, again, that's really important. That was something that I wasn't encouraged to do. So when I said I was going to go off to do judo to my instructor, he was like, "Oh no, you can't do that. You do karate." It was like, "Well, I can do what I want, at the end of the day, and I will do what I want." But they kind of didn't like you doing it. I think instructors back in the day felt like they owned you, or you had some sort of allegiance to them that you couldn't go anywhere else. And I think that's bad. I think as an instructor, you should really be encouraging your students to be the best they can in whatever they want to be. So cross train, definitely.
Now, a question I asked everybody on the podcast here, and especially karate guys, would be, I don't know if you follow Cobra K, but would you be more of a Cobra K or Miyagi Do?
Does this go out on an audio podcast, or it's just a video?
A video. And
so I've got it's Cobra Kai all the way, man. Cobra Kai. I think if I was in the 80s, I'd want to be Mr. Miyagi's student, because Mr. Miyagi's badass, isn't he? He's everything you'd want from a sensei. But if we're talking about modern day, the modern day Miyagi Do and Cobra Kai, definitely Johnny Lawrence. Lawrence,
definitely.
I think for one, I don't think Daniel LaRusso, his karate is a bit poor, isn't it? To be fair, as an actor, I don't think he's done karate in his life. It doesn't seem so. Modern day Cobra Kai, go back to the 80s, Mr. Miyagi. So I'm on the fence there, I'm afraid, Emmett.
No, it's definitely Cobra K through and through.
They're
more than Mike Barnes, Cobra K kind of.
Oh, okay, the badass, the bad boy of karate. He was, wasn't he?
I actually had Sean Caden on here now, and I think he actually said Miyagi Do himself.
Oh, really?
Off camera.
I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've only caught this recently, so I've looked through some of your old podcasts, and you've had some fantastic guests. So I'm honoured to be here amongst those greats now. So
it's very interesting too how you went for Cobra K, yet your student Kieran went for.
He did,
so
I had to give him some beats over that. We had words in the dojo.
That's it. And finally, Brian, how can people get in touch with you and follow what you're doing online? And
I appreciate that. So I've got YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So all three of those are under Brian Bates Applied Karate. So check that out. There's quite a lot of videos on the YouTube channel and the Instagram. So, if you like it, give us a subscription. That'd be great. The club I teach at, or the club I founded, was Zanshin Karate Academy. So there's a website for that as well. But all the socials is where you'll see a lot of the action. So
excellent. I'll put links to all that in the description as well.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, cheers.
It was a pleasure having you on today, Brian. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me, mate. Really appreciate it. So it's nice to have a chat.
That's it. Yeah.
So, okay. Super.